I'm working.
You keep doing your thing. You keep doing your thing. I'm over here flexing. All right. We got about 10 minutes before Big Johnny jumps on here. So I just want to see if there's any questions. Make sure for John, you throw those questions up. This is that time to really ask about anything for HRT. John's going to have the answers for you. And if he doesn't, he'll study up on it to get you the answers. And that's the best guy to ask, somebody that actually works in the industry for the last decade and a half. So, hey, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, Mary, I got a question for you. You didn't see a card on there.
Save this one for 10 minutes from now.
Wait a minute. Go back to that one.
Best way to heal inflamed muscles.
Can you explain what an inflamed muscle is? Is there another term you can use? Because I don't understand what that means.
Inflamed muscle?
Jeff, do you know what that means?
Outside of inflamed, if he's dealing with inflammation that's causing adverse effects on his body, is that what he means?
There's inflammation to the body, and then there's training in your body. Your muscles are inflamed from the workout, but that's just a healing process. So I don't fully understand what you mean by that. If you want the best response, try to rephrase that or tell me what I'm missing. Sound good? This one does not click well. I saw Mary here.
Light.
Is what?
It's very light. It's like very sensitive. Not sensitive. We got Mary. Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Hello.
You didn't get a card on that thing, right?
No, I wish I did.
Yeah, I'm sure that's Mary. She's the one that does the incredible stuff like that. Mary, we received something. Wondering if that was from you. Some stuff, the most amazing stuff, like the book there and everything. They come without cards. Let me know, okay?
Mike, do you miss doing Gladiators? I miss watching it.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly fun to be able to tussle. For me, it's fun to go somewhere and being able to tussle and do odd. What's cool about Gladiators or Battledom, it was that we got to do all these different kind of things. There was so many games you guys never even saw. I had to get over height being an issue, like jumping off of heights and stuff like that by 20. And I'm a gymnast, but I didn't do floor because I didn't like the loss of control of the body and the spinning and stuff. So it was a cool thing to get me over. But the point was, we got up and these these diving boards, in a sense, were 60 feet high. And remember, we film these things in the forum. So it's the basketball games are done there, the shows, the Circus Soleil is all done there. So we're on these platforms, right? And they're 60 feet up, and we have bungees on us. And then that's where you're reset. And so you got to jump off, come down, hit the ground, go up and smash the guy. And it was some of the fun, craziest games they came up with. But that's one of them. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but there was so many fun games. Just besides being hand-to-hand combat with somebody doing Powerball or grappling or bull in the ring. So much fun. It is coming back, though. They're in pre-production right now. They're putting the cast and all that together, just so you guys know. So you'll get Gladiators again.
Give us a sec, guys. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
It's the computer itself.
Yes, sir.
The
Live stream down.
software.
You're back in business.
Wow, it's like it never even stopped.
And more people join us. Look at that.
I like it. Well, at least we got that done before Johnny jumped on here.
Oh.
What do you got for me?
Everyone do squats until the stream comes back.
Well played, sir. Well played.
So I trained at Westside, and I was wondering why you don't run bands and or chains. I know you trained with Wenning, but was curious as to why you don't add them.
You just haven't seen it. That's all.
Did bands what? Last
week?
Yeah, last week.
Mhm.
And
You're probably only going to see a portion of what I do,
that's
a small portion of what I do.
you only see what's put out.
Yeah.
You know,
You only know what I tell you.
that's true.
I just send it
She
to
runs.
WhatsApp. You got it? Okay.
Yeah. So
We got to do the bench again.
also just remember that. Oh, geez. You use those at a period of your time of training and stuff, and they're great for explosion work, for speed. Bands are great for speed. Or I use it in a way where we can overload and use it. So like we'll set it up on the deadlift. It's great stuff. What do you think? Thanks. Bands and chains are all fun. Partials, pin presses, all that kind of stuff. Hey, where did I film the
Talking about
Anderson
pin
squats
presses.
yesterday?
Anderson squats yesterday.
Mona squatted.
Yeah.
We were
Oh, yeah,
filming
where's
it.
that? That's on the
Probably,
new,
probably
that
on the
phone.
workflow.
I was gonna ask you for it too, so I could post it.
Let's
At
see.
225, easy money.
Ooh.
Are you moving this or you're not moving this? That's a lot of weight. We show Mike videos that he don't see because we film. He doesn't film himself. So, just
Yeah, I
put it
filmed
up.
all your
You did, right?
And I think on one of them,
Look how sucked down that is.
Oh yeah.
one of them you tell Mike to get the off you.
Pull. Oh, you pulled it. Look at the shoes.
Look at those shoes.
I like my red shoes.
I like my red shoes. Do you guys use bands and chains?
This is the best one. That's when you 225 for.
Do me a favor, send that to Billy.
Mhm.
Can I talk through it, or is there one that I filmed?
You filmed 2. Yeah,
Okay.
you filmed.
Send both to Billy from that phone.
Yes. Is he doing them?
Yeah, I got him on it. We were just talking about the Anderson squats. Because I guess it was, just the other day we did some fun band deadlifts. That way a couple of guys could get a heavy load. Send that to Billy. Exactly.
Let's go. Get that shit.
Oh, that's good. From my pitch.
The audio of you was good there, but that was the one that didn't happen.
Oh, gotcha.
The first.
Just grab one that
Yeah.
I'm talking it out.
That's just some good stuff here that you didn't really see, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good stuff.
that's still good.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna go. It's gonna go across.
Send that to Billy.
Billy's one of those guys that's amazing. He loves to learn and try different things. And he's coming out. So for all of you, he's going to come out and stay a week. So it'll be absolutely bonkers here. Look at this stud.
How you guys doing, man?
I'm good, brother.
Hit the
Hi,
keyboard.
Johnny.
Keyboard.
Keyboard. That's where volume's at.
Thank you, Captain. We're good, Johnny. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You know, rock and rolling over here. Tuesday. You know, well, we're talking about what second week of the month.
Already.
Official. Yeah, it's going by quick already. That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, as time goes, just goes quick, man. You got to move fast. Got to keep up with that momentum.
I think one good thing about that is I started power bodybuilding 6 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you say, hey, I'm going to start a program, and then in a flash, if you stop watching an individual, you know, they're getting ready for a show or something, you come back and check in on them, and the transformation within 6 weeks is so tremendous. You know, if the guy's getting ready for a powerlifting meet or a bodybuilding show, or the person just wants to get in shape and drop that weight, you know, if they started 6 weeks ago and then you check in today and it's like, wow. And so I was just, for me, I was like, wow, we're already halfway through. And so the Titan Crew members are like looking and they're changing and changing. It's just fun to see that. And then there's obviously what we have you here for today is a key element of making sure that their bodies are optimized and moving as fast as we can possibly make it.
Right.
And so like this morning, I did my AOD, and I'm a big believer of it and love it. And I know, why are you doing somebody said, why are you doing AOD when you're off season like this?
Oh.
So I have my reasons, but what is AOD and what can it do for you?
So AOD is a 176 amino acid sequence of the 191 that's in growth hormone. So it's a sequence of growth hormone that basically speeds up your metabolism and works for fat burning. And, you know, it's got GRAS status. It's generally regarded as safe. That's what that means. And, you know, as far as AOD, this is a great peptide. You're not going to get any of the growth hormone effects as far as, you know, your organs getting bigger or your ears or anything like that, right? Like you would possibly get with growth hormone, but you are going to get the fat burning process. And that's two main components, lipolysis and lipogenesis, the process of fat burning and a process of not storing fat, right? So with these two key elements, I mean, these are awesome. And there's different tools for different things. So like a golfer brings out a different club depending on how far he is from a hole, right? So think about the exact same thing as weight loss. If you're talking about 5, 10 pounds, AOD is going to be a really, really good one. When we start getting up over 20, 30 and higher, we've got other tools and other clubs per se for that. But AOD is awesome, especially for somebody that's in the off season. And let me tell you why. Is because slow and steady wins the race. right? That's how it is. Historically, the tortoise is always going to win. So at that point, you don't want to burn out. So what that means is if you're going on a bulk phase or you're off season and you're eating and you're being free with it, if you're having something to combat some of these different things that you're putting in your body, this is a win. If you can still get gains, it's little over time. Nobody's really going to get essentially the biggest gains. I mean, they're essentially going to have to build up and then cut back down. So, with that, I think the AOD is a great one to pair off season or on season or stack it with something else too as well. But I think it's a good tool in the toolbox, especially like you said, when you're off season and you might be eating more calories than you usually do. This is something that will combat maybe some of the different weight gain and the negative effect and make it more of a positive effect on what the physique's going to look like. So even if you're trying to cut down, though, this is one to add in the toolbox, in the arsenal, and can combat it with something, or maybe combine it with something else to combat whatever you're trying to do as far as fat loss or weight burning or fat burning, excuse me. I like to put ECAs with AOD. That's a good one, right? You get both fat burning and thermogenesis effects, and you get the stimulant effect. So, for me, I don't like to drink coffee. Now, coffee is probably the best natural stimulant you could possibly take in, but it's not too good on your teeth, right? So at that point, I don't like to drink coffee. The coffee drinkers are out there, and there's so many studies on coffee. So I can't hate on coffee. I just don't get to go to the dentist all the time to get my teeth whitened. That's the primary effect. But coffee is a good one if you're not doing it. But outside of that, what do you do? What is out there, at your fingertips that's going to be one, generally healthy for you to a certain extent. I mean, all stimulants can be bad if abused, but that, and then what's going to get the best effect and result for you. And that's really where the ECAs come into play. Real ephedrine HCl, caffeine, aspirin, B12, and chromium. I mean, it's an old stack as far as the ECA portion. It's just a lot of people would have to, and still do, Frankenstein it together with like cold medication, right? And they're getting all this different stuff that they really don't need to intake in their system, right? So disregard all the garbage. And think about this. You're getting B12 and chromium, which are add backs to help weight loss too, to stimulate that fat loss. And you've got a precise dose weighed out from a pharmacy prescribed in your name. There's nothing that gets better than that. You going to piece it together, I guarantee it's going to cost you just as much or maybe more, and you're probably not going to get the best effect. And it might not be as precise as you want it to be. I mean, some people are very detailed and granular. A lot of people aren't, though. So at that point, you take your pick. You know what? You can combine these therapies and you can do a lot more. It really is up to you.
Just so everybody understands, again, we kind of got on this discussion because I am doing power bodybuilding. So my calorie intake is up. I'm trying to get my strength ballistic. And so with that, I think this is a good one for a lot of you out there that says, because we hear this a lot. We hear the guys say, hey, I'm, what do they say? A hard gainer. I'm skinny. I'm a hard gainer. I can't get those calories in. And so a couple of things that I think is great that John just kind of said, well, AOD helps speed up that metabolism, right?
Yep.
And so that's going to get that body working again. And so just like I think of weightlifting is, I can gauge if the weightlifting's working, if I'm getting stronger, even if it's a pound, over a period of time. And so the calories is the same thing for me and the people I work with is that, are they eating, or do I just have to continuously take calories away from the individual? What's going on with the body? Is the body burning really well and functioning and working with you to where this person, oh, hey, I'm dropping weight, but I'm at 3,000 calories. Great. Right. Your body is burning. This is awesome. So let's take that calorie a little bit more. That way you can get a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength, a little bit more muscle building proteins in there. These are all good things. And so for the hard gainers, your metabolism is moving, right? Maybe you don't feel hungry enough to eat the calories that you should eat. And I think I hear that a lot as well, is people saying, no, I eat so much, I'm stuffed all the time. It's like,
it's not enough.
Well, if you're not gaining weight, there's something going on there.
Right.
Is your body not working with us? What's going on? So I just like the idea of AOD and helping my metabolism really speed up at this point of where these calories are going in. And really getting me strong. And that's the goal for me right now.
Mhm.
So that's great. And then go into this because I think this is great. Strength building, MK,
Yeah.
also appetite.
Right.
Can
So
you go-
MK677, yeah, Ibutamoren. I mean, this is a capsule, so it's the only oral growth hormone releasing hormone peptide. It's very cool, right? Like even the studies on it, super cool. Like gain over 123% of IGF-1. I mean, these are in old participants too, as well, not young cats. So at that point, like it's a huge, huge jump. Now with the IGF-1, obviously recovery is going to be there. You know, revitalization, rejuvenation, anti-aging properties, sleep patterns. And one thing it's going to do is it's going to stimulate your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So for you guys that are not being able to get the meals in, this is one thing that I added NDO Champs, which will be here Thursday, and he's a part of Team Titan. So at that point, like, you know, his big thing was I'm trying to gain because he's trying to, you know, wants to go to Mr. Olympia. So he's got to win the contest first. So at that point, he's trying to get his weight up. So got his weight and his strength up. I mean, I think he went from like 220 to 250 here in the course of a couple of months. I mean, he's put on a lot of weight pretty quick. So at that point, like this is one that is there, and there's a lot of people that can't eat the meals and they can't get the calories in. And at that point, like this, what I'd say would be the go-to. Talking about strength, this is going to be an enhancement of strength. The only thing that I say, you know, as a warning to this for anybody that wants to utilize it, is that you got to be prepared. Eating a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of bad food, a whole bunch of good food, a whole bunch of bad food is two different things. If you eat a whole bunch of good calories, that's one thing. If you eat a whole bunch of bad calories, that's another. So at that point, if you go in your house and you've got, let's say you got 3 kids and their diets aren't nutritious, right? And you're going there and you start eating boxes of cereal, the Ho-Hos, the Twinkies, I think they're still around, and things like that, right? You're going to get bad weight on. It is what it is. I mean, you're going to be able to expend some calories, but all those different processed foods and all that stuff that you might be intaking is you're not going to be able to outrun that with training, especially if you're behind the 8 ball. If you're behind the 8 ball, then you need to catch up. So you need to do the right thing. I would say 95% of the time, and then 5% of the time you might be able to get a cheat here or there. But you know, that's just not to go crazy. But at that point, you need to be dedicated to get there. And you know, if you start hitting roadblocks every time along the way, you're not going to get there as quick as you want to get there, for sure.
It's a great point. I hope you guys, if you're here, you realize that talk about any of this stuff, that nutrition should be the best you possibly can, you know, for your schedule and your lifestyle. So, you know, there's nobody here that's going to be like, well, I eat terrible. I'm going to keep that up, but I want to listen to everything else you're doing.
Right.
That's probably, well, it's definitely not what I'm preaching here. And I don't think that's what John's preaching. He talks about.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's the first thing you guys talk about when you make a phone call there is how's the water intake, how's your sleep recovery, how's your nutrition. So those are the first thing to take care of. And then everything else we're speaking about is taking you up a notch.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is for if your blood work is great, everything's good, how can we optimize you? How can we become extraordinary? And I want everybody to be able to enjoy that lifestyle that you can do that. And you're just talking about NDO Champ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful physique. Trains hard. Already has a great physique. And to think that he went 225 to 250 after training as long as he has and after doing so much, and you still took him to another level. I don't think people realize to take someone that's already really good and make him jump that much better is hard. Take somebody that's out of shape that hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
You know, easy to change. Big jumps at the beginning.
Right.
But it's slow on the other side. So it's really impressive that the company can do that and help somebody like that move to that level. So
yeah, super cool.
Nice job.
He'll be here Thursday, so he's gonna you know do some things here as far as that goes, some videos in house. So yeah, he can explain because we're documenting the process of the journey, right? And see where we can really go, and you know along the way see what we can get, you know, content wise, and I like to document things like that because if it's a big jump and everything, you can show that result. It's one thing to talk about. It's another thing to see it, right? And hear it for yourself. So, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I think in 2025, I want to start setting up journeys for people and being like real living testimonials. So at that point, because people ask me all the time, they're like, "Oh, all I see is these young cats on your Instagram or these bodybuilders and all that." I'm like, "Well, you don't want to know why? It's because majority of those people, they like to post. So I'm going to repost their stuff, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't got a whole bunch of regular people that have got phenomenal results. It's just they want to keep that to themselves, maybe. I'm not there to like push people to do testimonials, but I mean, I've got a ton of them from regular people too, reviews too. But at that point, like I want to start documenting those things so people can see it, for themselves. Because even if you're phenomenal shape, you still got to be dedicated, and you still got to be consistent, and you still got to be progressing. And that's what successful people do that are in fitness anyway, for sure. I mean, because you'd be successful outside of fitness and health, but ultimately it's going to lead back to your health, how long you can live to be able to spend it or see it. So, I would take health as number one investment, guys. Anybody ask me, I'm like, listen, health is number one, because without it, you have nothing.
For you guys that are out there and you're hearing this, I'm hoping, let's say hypothetically, you are not the guy or girl that want to take your shirt off. I fully understand that. But I still recommend you do something here. I think this is a great opportunity going, it's the new year. I'm jumping into this. Well, here's some ways that you can hold yourself accountable even further. I say, take those shots. Don't show nobody, but take the shots in the bikini or the shorts for the guys, regardless of how it looks, because you're only going to get better. And there's a chance, and I've done this with my people in the Titan crew. We do before and afters, and the changes to me are truly impressive, because I know NDO and I know these other guys. They're committed to taking care of their Ferraris, their bodies, right? And these girls, again, I understand that they're young, they're beautiful, they look great.
Yep.
To me, it's so cool to see the working man or working woman, the family, the kids, that this isn't their priority, but it becomes a health priority, and you change dramatically. And so no matter how bad you look now, to continue to take those photos every 2 to 4 weeks, and then come back later this year and compare those. Even if you don't feel like showing it to us, you look at them yourselves and you pull out your notebook and you see the changes you made. It's probably going to blow you away. It really will. And it holds you accountable. And here's the other thing. If you don't do the shots, you're never going to know if you're not the person that maybe goes over to Titan Medical and goes, this is what I look like. With your help, I got to here. I'll guarantee if you're that success story that changed everything, and I'll guarantee it changes more than just your body, it changes your life.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to go, hey, I'm going to be the one that changes so much that they just kind of take a look at it and put that out there for the world to see, and you just motivate others by doing that. So just a little side note.
Down to.
Jeffrey, we got some insight for Johnny on here. I know one person asked something. I didn't understand it. It was early in the conversation. He said, any help for inflamed muscles?
Yes.
And I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, if you're inflamed, if you have any inflammation, there's a couple of routes to go. One, TB500 and BPC157. These are great anti-inflammation therapies. So these will help tremendously with inflammation, especially with muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, any of that. So, if you're having issues there, those are the two to really go for. If you wanted some with some different health benefits, like glutathione would be another one for anti-inflammation. And that would help in a number of different ways too as well. One, fortifying and building the immune system stronger. And then two, with your liver functions. The filter of your body, it needs to be taken care of. A lot of people's livers are bad. And a lot of people have fatty livers. And a lot of adolescents now have fatty livers. So that's kind of scary. It's one thing for an adult to have a fatty liver. It's another thing for a child to have a fatty liver. Because usually kids are their bodies are, they take a lot more abuse when they're young. As far as sugars and all that, your body processes them a lot better. And as you get older, it doesn't process as easy. So, at that point, glutathione would definitely be another one for you. But those would be the three that I would say would be the top of the list.
I was just trying to figure out inflamed muscles. My muscles are inflamed every single day because I work out. And so then after the workout, I'm not worried about that inflammation. That's just the body going back in to rebuild.
Right.
So I didn't know if he meant that. Or I'll have a high day. On Sundays, I get my extra boost. I try to get 1,000 grams of carbohydrates on Sundays. And that's a lot. And so again, filled out. But again, that's not a destructive thing for me. But so I'm just trying to figure out, is this person talking about an injury? Or is it his nutrition isn't sharp or anything like that?
Yeah.
So hit us back, my friend. See if I can't, if not me, but if Johnny can help you any further. But
yeah, because like you said, inflammation to a certain degree is healthy, right? It gets to a certain extent too, it could be unhealthy. But a lot of people take like NSAIDs and stuff like that, which are bad on kidneys, and you don't want to do that either. So don't take NSAIDs like ibuprofen after workouts.
that's the go-to though.
That's the go-to.
That doesn't know. It's like, hey, I'm inflamed, something's going on. Boom, ibuprofen.
Yep. 850s or 875s.
Fatty liver. It's like a couple
Hold
different
that
things.
thought, man. Hold it. Come on now.
So fatty liver in the U.S., it says about 10%, but worldwide, it's 25%.
25%.
Yeah.
What about adolescents?
There's some countries that are like.
What's the uprise of it? Because I know that this is one of the biggest things they talked about. That like in the 70s and 80s, it was like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's like.
Yeah, it's rose tremendously.
1996%, 1980 is like nothing. And then 2030 projected to be 33%.
33% by 2030, and that's a skip and jump. That's right here.
Wow, that's 3 out of 10 people in a room. Almost. That's more than 3 out of 10 people. 3.3. Man, think about that. And that's unhealthy as is, right then and there. And they're just like, this is the crazy thing about this, right?
20% or
If a patient comes into a general practitioner and they run a blood test, they run a regular CMP, which they always do. That's the normal test they run. And that's a comprehensive metabolic panel for people out there that didn't know what that is. And that has like your liver functions, your kidney functions, your fasting glucose is in there. And they look at the ALT and AST, and that's your liver enzymes. And they see those liver enzymes at like 100, triple digits on both of them, right? And then they're like, oh, you have a fatty liver. And they're like, all right, so what can I do, doc, to get rid of this fatty liver? And they're like, well, you need to change your diet. Like, okay, I'll change my diet. Are you taking any supplementation? Yeah, I'm taking some more. Well, I would stop that too. Are you drinking alcohol? Yeah, well, stop that too. So they stop all these things. Now, somewhere along the line, something goes on because the liver does not come back and it's still a fatty liver next time they test it. This could be just like taken out completely, like just ripped by the root if they did glutathione for like 2 to 3 weeks. That's how quick it turns around. So, I mean, not to
Why
go
isn't
the
that
offer
go-to then? Why isn't that just the instant go-to?
I don't know. Just like in the hospital, like when people come in for like alcohol poisoning, it's usually N-acetylcysteine is what they give them, NAC, which is like a precursor to glutathione. So it's just crazy. I don't know why. I really don't. And I asked one general practitioner because insurance doesn't cover it. And I'm like, well, okay, well that's one thing I guess. But it's not FDA approved to do that. That's the other thing. I'm like, you guys use other medications for off-label use. Why couldn't you use this for off-label use? If it's going to benefit the patient, that's ultimately what the doctor is supposed to be doing and overlooking. not what fits this insurance company's branch or that. So they're kind of restricted. I understand why they don't, but it's something that could be just taken out completely, almost like overnight.
We'll stay away. We'll stay away from the conspiracy theory stuff for you guys. How about this? We just say
It's not a conspiracy theory. Yeah,
I know, but it's like the man behind the curtain. They're doing stuff to keep us.
This is what I can promise. This is what I can promise a patient. If a patient comes to us and they have high liver enzymes, ALT, AST, as long as they don't have hepatitis C, I can pretty much guarantee we're going to get pretty much like a 99.9. Like I'd almost refund your money if we couldn't get your liver functions trending downward, like tremendously, like 100 down to 40 type situation in like 3 to 4 weeks. And that's how much like I stand behind it. And I don't gamble at all. Like I don't go to Vegas. I don't gamble at all. I'm like a sure thing type of guy. So at that point, like that's how strongly I feel about it.
And that's the difference, I think, between Titan Medical and the family doctor. The family doctor is going to be a moderate, whatever they are allowed to send out. You're going to take care of it.
Yeah, they're restricted.
Notice it in 2 to 3 weeks. And so my thought is, don't trust the government or how they're trying to set you up. And again, I think everybody should go see a doctor, but get your blood work done, and you become somewhat of a moderate expert of yourself. Just do that. Just get your blood work done. You'll see your numbers, and then go in there, get the glutathione, get moving on that, and then check it again in a month. And then you'll go, holy sheesh, I took care of myself. And this doctor is talking about this, and this, and I took care of myself. That's what I want for you guys, if you guys could do that. And I get that there's so much information out there, and I know that there's two sides to everything, but I saw it for myself with glutathione and how much it helped me stay healthy all year long.
I mean, I don't know how many we've compiled our own patient data over 13 years of it. So at that point, like I've got like a ton of data just on patients and just this alone. So it's just super cool. It's super cool.
So now I know that it gets repetitive and we say it over and over again, but just like the glutathione that I've preached about, saying how great it is, we've talked about this next one. Is SARMs good? And we've talked about this numerous times.
Yeah. So for me, like, this is just me. I mean, you can have your own opinion on it, but SARMs are no good at that point. Yes, they'll get you a short-term like effect, but one, you're talking about liver toxicity, and two, you're talking about shutting down your natural production of testosterone. Why would you do that? Like, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just take testosterone? I'm just asking, because at that point you get the same negative side effects as taking testosterone, but you think it's better because you're taking a SARM, because it's not testosterone. It just makes no sense. So, I mean, in the beginning, the theory of it was you were going to get all the benefits of raising testosterone with no negative side effects of estrogen. But they didn't talk about shutting down your natural production either. And there's a lot of young kids that took SARMs or had these put in supplements and they were unknowingly taking them. So at that point, like, it's just, for me, I would say no good, guys. There's better things. And, I mean, to try to substitute what it really should be, I wouldn't say take testosterone unless you need it, but there's people out there that obviously are going to take it no matter what. And to say that SARMs would be a better substitute or a better option would be a false statement.
Here's another one. I'll just go back to the basics. So if you can kind of drive your own ship here, again, simple blood work, see where your testosterone is at, and then have the discussion again, because let's say hypothetically you come back and you're 30 years old and you're 800. Well, I think for me, you're doing fine. So there's no point for the SARMs for you to even think that. And probably right now at your age, maybe you don't need to do TRT. So right. You're not going to know this though, because then what happens if you're this 35-year-old and you come back and your T level is 200. Okay, well now I understand why you're asking the question. Should I take SARMs? I'm at 200. I am ground zero.
Right.
But then the question again is where is that range? And is SARMs going to get you something that's going to optimize your health, or are you going to make the switch and step into HRT?
I mean, it's not something you can even stay on for long term. I mean, you're doing damage to the body anyway through the liver. I mean, it makes no sense to take a SARM if you really need testosterone. If you really need testosterone, get on testosterone. If you're thinking about taking a SARM and your testosterone levels are great, I wouldn't do it. But if you were going to do it, I would take testosterone. I'm just being honest. Like, and not even through us. You'd probably go do it from your friend or whoever it is at that point. But I would definitely recommend doing that over. I'm not even going to recommend. I would say do that over anything else as far as SARMs. I've just seen too many bad things. Even the clinical data on some of these SARMs, you're talking about cancer. Like, I mean, that's a serious effect that we're starting to see. Like, at least that there's been so much clinical data on human use with testosterone. That's the cool thing, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see as much data as possible for as long as possible on whatever medication you're going to take. That way we know, hey, listen, we've put it on a whole bunch of people, this effective in this way, instead of, there's minimal clinical data, and that data says that it could cause cancer. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could cause cancer. So, I mean, I guess everything's like, you choose what you want to do, and you're playing Russian roulette either way you go.
Nicely done, Johnny. Nicely done. I'm going to jump on one more here.
Sure. I got a TRT. I got TRT next week. What is minimum levels I should accept? I got TRT next week. What is minimum levels I should accept? Okay, so if you're blood testing and test level, okay. So if you're taking testosterone, you want to be highest to the optimal top of the range. So through LabCorp, it's 216 and 946, 264 to 916, excuse me. So you want to be closest to 916, right? Doesn't mean you want to be over. You don't want to be like it. If you're taking testosterone, you want to come back at 600. Just being honest. Like, there's people that they go from 300 to 600, and that's okay. Like, you're like doing decent. But if you're going to replace it and you're going to be injecting or however you're going to be, taking it inside your body, at that point, you want to be as optimal as possible. And that's what we would do here,
So his questions was he's going to get tested. And is that right? Is that what you're picking up as well? And you can feel free to come back and let us know if I'm correct. So you're going to go get tested. You're going to look at your blood work, and you're going to find out what your range is at.
Yeah.
And then the next discussions after that.
Yeah. Testosterone will not cause cancer. I see it up there. Like, it will not cause cancer. Even there's been so many different things, like as far as like some of these myths just debunked. Prostate cancer is not directly affected by testosterone. They've found that out. Cardiovascular disease, it's actually good for the heart. So there's a couple different things.
Here's a fun nutrition one.
Ooh.
And the cool thing
Best
about
bulking food for hard gainers. I would definitely take some MK677. I would eat a lot of steak. Some I guess some carbs too as well. Potatoes, rice, maybe some pasta. That's what I would eat. I like those carbs.
I was a noodle guy trying to get that size during junior high school and high school. I was very much a noodles, whole eggs with tuna fish. And I'd eat it out of the margarine container because we didn't have Tupperwares back then. So we just, whatever we had. So we had, my mom kept she kept all the margarine containers. I washed those out and then used those for meals during school.
Nice.
But I was
smart.
In the 1930s, so it was different back then. Yeah, but try noodles. Good calories, good carbs. And then, like you said, when it comes to protein, I'd be doing the red meats. I'd be doing the ground beef. And I wouldn't be doing lean cuts. I would be doing, some good 20% ground beef. Costco has something that you showed me the other day.
Oh, man, the tube?
Yeah, the tube. Also, I was actually looking at the hamburgers from there. Great. If you're bulking. Yeah, some good fats.
I don't know if this is serious or not, but it kind of relates to, John, I know you always talk about those websites that people need to stay away from. Have you experienced anybody come to you
What are your thoughts
with something like this?
what are your thoughts on brewing your own tests? I wouldn't do it. I've seen all kinds of setups in my life. A lot of them are bathtubs. You know, they'll set up in the kitchen or the bathtub. That's the common setting for like an at-home brewer. I've seen places in houses where it looks like a clinical lab, and like you go in there, it's like, oh my, like it's like sterile, like the whole nine. But most places are not, or they're getting it from China or India or something like that. So I wouldn't. I mean, if you're talking about that one, you're talking about getting powders, and then you're talking about liquefying those powders, making sure you put in the oil. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? So I would stay away from it. I'm just being honest with you. One, you're manufacturing a controlled substance too, as well. I know a lot of people, they don't take it serious anymore, right? Like, I don't know if I was doing anything illegal if I'd go on the internet and start like spouting it out, right? Like, I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. Like, if I wasn't with Type Medical Center and I was taking like tests or anything like that, I don't think I'd tell anybody. I'm just being honest. And the reason is because everybody's watching, right? And you're kind of putting yourself at risk. But besides the point, you might not know what you're doing. And unless you do, I definitely wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that route. One, you're talking about your health, right? And you're talking about putting on the line for a couple $100 at most. So I would probably stay away from brewing your own tests.
I don't know, Gary. They're being sticklers on you, buddy. Man, it sounds like you're saying it like I'm gonna go bake a cake. Heck, why not? Let's try it.
Yeah, but there's one thing. You bake a cake, you take a bite, you're like,
nonchalant how he's saying it. He's so nonchalant. Hey, what do you think about me? Make my own. Good job. Go for it. It's like,
I wouldn't do it. Listen, a lot of people they think that they can do it because the internet's out there, and there's like instruction videos. Like you can like search them up, like how to make your own testosterone. And literally, I had buddies do it in college, right? And they made like this super test, and this shit crystallized them the whole nine. And I was like, oh, that was when I was like, I was like, oh, I was like, I don't know about this. So, yeah, I would probably stay away from brewing your own stuff. Get the proper stuff from a pharmacy.
oh gosh, that's great. Mo, let's make a cake later. What do you think? Brew up some tea in the bathtub as well.
Is there a big difference between only testosterone and testosterone with HGH? Is it worth it to risk? Is it worth the risk? So testosterone obviously is one part. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. They're like, if I take growth hormone, do I have to take testosterone? And I explained to him, I said, well, it's two totally different things. If you take testosterone, you're replacing or you're putting testosterone in the body. And that's a whole different game, whole different level. If you put growth hormone in your body, now you're producing more growth hormone. You're doing other things to the body. Now, both are good to a certain extent, but real HGH is really expensive and really hard to get prescribed. Okay. So is there a better alternative to that? I would say testosterone, IGF-1, way better. If you need testosterone, obviously testosterone is going to be the foundation. Overall, I would say testosterone is going to be a big portion. Like if you're building a house, you got to have the foundation first. And that's your foundation, really. I mean, the hormone portion of it. And growth hormone is a part of the hormone function. So, I mean, they all play a part in a major role. But at that point, like these things play two different roles. And most of the time, if somebody has low testosterone, that doesn't mean they have low growth hormone levels. So ultimately, I would look at where the problem is and fix that problem.
For anybody that's reading this question as well, great question. You don't know. The thing I see is this. This would be solved again for anybody. Is that you would test your blood, see what the providers, what your numbers are, go over that with your providers. Because if you got great IGF recovery, things are going good. That eliminates one aspect of it, and then you'll also know: is it time for you, or should you wait a little bit for your T? So those are the two things.
Definitely blood test first, for sure.
I know that HGH gets a lot of bad rap. And again, I think just for you guys out there, I think everybody understands, you know, you can go out and have one drink Friday night, you know, and you're fine, you know. But anything in a large dose is not good.
Yes.
So again, they're finding with longevity that TRT is a great thing to enhance your body and keep it healthy for long. So how is something that's been stereotyped as bad actually beneficial for you? So just keep those little things in mind. If you're
Definitely.
in the health and fitness world and all you've heard is these things are the worst thing in the world, again, the person abusing them. But can you take anything at a small dose and it be okay for you?
Yeah.
Studies show that it is so.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, and growth hormone is not negative. Like taking a medical therapeutic dose. I mean, it's been studied. So I mean, at that point, like I'm not gonna say it's bad for you, but a lot of people abuse growth hormone. And that's where it really gets the negative stigma, you know, and that's where some of these different things come into play. I mean, even they've got that show like Don't Die on Netflix with Brian Johnson, that tech CEO who's doing the anti-aging gig, the blueprint. I started laughing a little bit about what he was doing in some of these instances, but
the guy that's frail next to Mona. Yeah.
Pretty extreme. Yeah. And what he does in the plasma and the whole nine. But yeah. But him and a lot of these techs, I mean, they're all taking growth hormone. They're all really publicly out loud about it. So at that point, like we'll see if the government lets you get a hold of it though. That's the hard part in some instances.
Just be smart for your body. And again, smart for your body is understanding your blood work, yours, nobody else's. And then understanding what your genetics and what your family has passed down through generations on what you should or shouldn't do, and have that discussion with a professional, and then find out how you can optimize your body the best it can.
Yeah.
Those are the simple goals. Those are the things that you should know. And I wish more of you guys would have that blood work done. And I know that I saw that Mary just emailed me her blood work from Titan Medical. So I'm excited to see that and go over that with her and see what her personal provider at Titan Medical told her what she should do next steps.
Yeah, I want to know too. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mary, are you still here? If you are, Jeffrey, you
got a question. It was,
what do you see, Johnny?
There was one up there that said, Mike, what do you do for high blood pressure? Right? Biggest thing, Mike doesn't have high blood pressure. One guy said, we know Mike doesn't have high blood pressure. But the person asked, what do they do if they have high blood pressure? What do they do? Usually, the first common thing is you lose weight. You lose weight, you lose body fat. And that's usually with changing the diet and everything that comes along with it. So, but usually losing weight is like the number one thing that people usually get off blood pressure medication. Usually, unless there's other things that are going on, but that's the number one thing, like lose weight. Like that's the biggest thing I've seen with people. And that's honestly, I think that's why these drugs are getting some of these different FDA classifications, because the common factor, right? Or, common thing is that all these patients are losing weight. And then they're saying, oh, now it's good for cardiovascular system, GLP-1s. Now it's good for kidneys. And it's just, it's why? What is the common denominator? They're losing weight, right?
Getting in shape, dropping that extra 100 biscuits.
Dude, even with my dad, like when he lost weight, like with the cancer and all that, it was supposed to be a bad thing, but he got off all his blood pressure medications.
It's great.
I mean, I'm like, damn, like how the hell did you do this? Sugar levels got better. I'm like, what the hell did this happen? Kidney levels got better. It's just crazy. Mary said, I'm still here.
Mary, hey girl. I'll try to as we wrap up today, I'll look over that email and see if I can't get John back on the phone after his next live. He's here right now. I'm trying to get you Titan members who's questions with Johnny to help you guys out. And blood pressure. Yeah, this isn't just one aspect of the HRT world. All aspects. How can we get our cholesterol? How can we get our blood pressure better? How can we, lose that? So
Sure.
how do I sleep better?
Yep. All right. So next one was, will test up my blood pressure. So usually testosterone will not, right? If you have naturally like good levels of testosterone that are optimal, that doesn't mean you're going to have high blood pressure. The thing about it is, and the way that it goes down is that most people that take testosterone, just testosterone by itself, usually get high blood pressure. And you're going to say, well, why? And the reason is because usually their estrogen goes up, their estradiol in particular. And at that point, they start getting water retention, and the water retention starts causing high blood pressure. So at that point, I would look at that if you're on testosterone and you're having high blood pressure issues and you've never had high blood pressure issues before. If you've had high blood pressure issues before, I would look at what's going on, right? And what you need to do to get that down, whether it's take medication or lose weight or whatever it may be. And it all comes back to diet. It's crazy. What body fat percentage? What, 10 to 12%, right, Mike? Oh, I can't hear you. You must be muted.
What body fat should you be at?
What body fat do I have to be at to make my abs visible?
Everybody's different, my friend. Gilbert, my old training back from the 80s and 90s, he could be at 11% walk on stage. 11.
Get out of here.
It's beautiful. He's this great God. He's a mixture of everything. Yeah. Beautiful round shoulders and muscles. I measured myself. It was back in the day. We did the calipers aren't the best way, but I was a good 6 or 7% lower than him, and I looked fat.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody's different. That's cool. It's cool. These guys walk around like good 10, 15, and Todd Abrams, unless he's 3 or 4, unless he owns, I always looks rich. Unless he's 3 or 4, he's not rich.
Wow.
So like 8 or 9, still he looks fat on him. Everybody's different.
Like
Red.
6%. Probably like,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's again, yes, how your body is and how it carries it.
Okay. Just got my NAD today. Best way to start using it. This is really depending on the user, right? You can use it Monday, Wednesday, Friday if you want to. You can use it before you got some big presentation or some big outing that you want to be on point with. This is totally up to you. So, I mean, I would use it, maintenancely, at least 2 to 3 times a week. And that way it stays in your system. You're getting some good benefits all the way throughout the week. That's the way I would do it. But like I said, if there's something that's important coming up and you got to be on point, you got to be like laser focused, you want to be on point as much as possible, then I would take a little bit more on that day, maybe skip a day in the week, right? And that way you can stay on point with your maintenance dose. And if there's something that's there, you can take a little bit more and get the better effect.
If you see something you like that,
Right.
yours is just I said mine.
Hi, Mike. Any advice for people who are in night jobs with irregular sleep cycles and late work? Much respect.
You got to just choose some hours that you sleep in. You're working at night, in the day, it goes with it.
Yeah, you got to get that sleep cycle and get that on point. I would say, even if it's reversed like that, be consistent with what you're doing. Try to get as many hours as possible. This is kind of where I started at when I started Titan. Honestly, the first couple of patients were nightlife patients, like bartenders, managers, because 1, they've got the irregular sleep schedules. 2, they're coming in contact with all types of people and all types of germs. So what does that do? 1, you're running down your system. Those guys are usually drinking that night too as well. So at that point, they need something. So we would do all kinds of like vitamin injectables, glutathione for these guys. And a lot of them blood tests, because if you're not getting the proper sleep and you're not taking care of your body, this could affect your different hormones too as well, like testosterone can knock it down. So, it's something that I would definitely do as far as a blood test. And I would definitely do like a Titan Complete or a glutathione that's got like a B complex in there. You've got some super antioxidants. You're getting some good stuff there. So, that's what I would do if I was in the nightlife, and that's what I did. Literally, like Rodney used to be one of the security guards at one of these clubs that I used to be one of the marketing managers for. And literally, what I would told him what I was doing with Titan, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do this. And I literally had a whole bunch of people in that in the industry like lined up. It's a good one, and people are like, why? Like, because they need it. Do you have any tips for people that have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome? So yes, absolutely. This is where BPC 157 really shines. So BPC 157 is originally was from like the gastric juices in your stomach, right? That's why it's so good with stomach problems. And taking this, you can take this orally, but injectable, like in the stomach area, is probably going to be the best you can get. And at that point, IBS, Crohn's, ulcers, this is where, like I said, it's from the gastric juice in the stomach. It is very effective with stomach issues and problems.
We were just looking up what causes it.
There's so many issues. Be stressed.
Yeah, IBS. Street's got IBS. I mean, a million people get diagnosed with IBS. It could be diet. It could be stress. I mean, there's a lot of things at play. So of course you tell people, hey, listen, start relaxing a little bit, right? Start changing up your diet, get some different things in the diet. But usually it doesn't change. And then a lot of people have to go on medications for it.
Well, I think this one's a great one to finish up today. Before we do, will you let me know specials?
Yes, some big ones. So 10% off of 9 of our different weight loss therapies. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, L-carnitine, Titan Complete, our Titan Fat Burning Cream, Prometheus, Tesofenzine. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's it. Yeah, Titan Complete I said already, and L-carnitine. So 9 of them, 9 big ones. So 10% off of any one you want. And if you want to get multiple, you get 10% off each one. And that's probably the biggest discount you've ever got on the weight loss, across the board. So that, and then blood testing for the rest of this week will be the 130 and 200. 130 for males and 200 for females.
Also, a side note before we go too far into this one. AOD is one of the peptides I'm doing. I also started the injectable L-carnitine. And so just for you guys out there, and yes, I am off season, my strength and size. And yes, I'm still doing though. For me, I want to combat the whole thing as more muscle, more calories, staying fit, and staying visually appealing. Right?
So just want to let's not forget about the tri-immune because right now everybody's sick. Like literally everybody's sick. And I've been doing that. And look at this.
And good.
Our guys were surgery
I know.
weeks ago, but
It's interesting.
we haven't.
Jeff was sick. Still showed up every day. I'm also ready to search.
Every single thing.
I haven't even seen his picture.
Shut up every day.
Talk to us. Talk to us.
Yeah, everybody's sick. If you notice that everybody around the country is sick, it's really weird. Really, really weird. It is. I mean, I don't know. At this point, like, what are you going to do, right? And there's some great immune boosting therapies that we have. One is the triimmune, and that combines 3 major ingredients. 1, glutathione, like we talk about all the time. 2, vitamin C, and 3, zinc. And these 3 together are really going to solidify, fortifying the immune system. Like, it's going to make the immune system stronger. It's going to give you a better defense to some of the different things that are out there that might be causing people to get sick. And hopefully, even if you do get sick, it will hopefully get you, better faster. I mean, that's the thing, like shortening the cold of what you already have. So that's one. The other one I would recommend highly is thymosin alpha 1. TA1 is a peptide therapy, comes from the thymus gland. And at that point, This thing is like the number one as far as immune system boosting. It's the best. It's the best. Like any immunocompromised patients, autoimmune disease. This even makes vaccines more efficient and effective. So it's really, really good. We had it for a long time, and what happened was COVID came. There was a pharmacy was touting that it was the COVID cure. And at that point, the reps from there told the doctors, and the doctors started promoting this. And then at that point, that doctor lost her license out of California, and the pharmacy got fined a lot of money and stuff like that. Finally, it's back. It's that good, Mike. It's serious. It like the way thymosin alpha 1 works is it creates these two types of cells, killer cells and helper cells, the T cells, and they go attack anything that's bad and they replace it with something that's good. So it's the real deal. Like I would definitely, if somebody had like bad immune system problems and stuff like that, or even cancer patients, I don't want to tout it like that because I'm not trying to, oh, you've got cancer, take this. But I'm telling you, like there's studies on it. It's pretty cool. It's
Check
really
it out.
cool.
Yeah, I'm a learning guy. I'll continue to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's finish on this one here. This
Yeah.
one.
Sure.
Actually, how we started our discussion.
Yeah.
Today.
Hi. Any tips for thin people with high metabolism? Well, one, you got to get the calories in, right? Because you're thin, you got a high metabolism. So MK677 is going to be the go-to. There's not something else I wouldn't recommend for this. Like at that point, if you're a thin person and you've got a problem gaining and you eat a lot already, this is going to make you eat a lot more. Plus, with your IGF-1 levels going up, this should stimulate you being able to create more cells and grow those cells. So at that point, being able to put on a lot more lean mass, hopefully. And that's what I'd go with. I mean, you could do that. You could do a lot of different things, like, maybe like some testosterone and stuff like that to get rid of any body fat in the stomach and raise IGF-1 levels. But to me, a very thin person needs to eat. And they're a hard gainer. They need something to really stimulate. And that's where MK, I think, really takes the cake. You're muted.
Sorry, Captain.
It's okay.
Yeah, I just asked what your calorie intake is. And so next time around, you know what your calorie intake is, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I can't help you. Most people say this to me throughout my career, and they don't know what their calorie intake is.
Yeah.
So they just go, then you're probably not, your calories. You gotta understand both aspects. Today's great. Blood work will tell you so much what you need to do, what you not need to do. Calorie intake, you have it marked down and you're keeping track of it. And if you're keeping track of your workout, these all things help. First thing though is there's a number on the screen right now: 727-389-3220. Hit up Titan Medical. Let them know. Mike O'Hearn, John over there.
Yeah.
What are things you don't need right now? What don't you need blood work for?
So the only thing you need blood work for is testosterone replacement and hormones, basically. IGF-1. Everything else, MK, testosterone, ECAs, Titan Complete, Hercules, and anything across the board, you don't need blood work. All you have to do is fill out the new patient paperwork and see our medical provider via telemedicine. If you're not here or if you want to come in, you can do that too. We're nationwide, so wherever you're at, we can help you guys.
There you go. All right. Johnny, thank you again, my man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys.
You guys feel free to make clips from this, throw them out there. I know Jeffrey's going to get on that too.
Oh, yeah.
And next week, you'll be able to see me and John on Generation Iron for a discussion. Oh, big time. Big time. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for hanging, guys, today. Again, if you got high blood pressure or you got other issues, talk to them. Talk to Titan Medical and see what you need to do. Also, fully understand, I know my understanding of having a family doctor that his interest was making sure that I was healthy. Don't took me a long time to realize that their loyalties, not so much that as just kind of putting a Band-Aid on something instead of taking care of the root of the problem. And so that's where Titan Medical is different. They try to find out what the root of the problem is with your health. If there is something, if there's not, then you go to that second level. You can see, well, let me try to optimize my health. Let me see if I can become superhuman. And I know that you guys are here today because you want to do that. All right. Until next time. Oh, last thing. It's that guy's birthday right there.
Hey,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's
Strip
see.
club tonight,
Jump in the
baby.
DMs. Send it on over. See what you got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys and girls are invited.
Mm-hmm. But some will be kicked out.